This is 5 ways to stop masturbating and watching adult films today. Grab your pen, grab your paper, and let's get into it. Number 1, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. What does that mean? It means that if you are bored, if you have nothing to do, then this is going to cause you to turn towards masturbating and turn towards adult films to entertain yourself. So whenever you're bored or whenever you have nothing to do, this is probably the higher or likely chance of you giving into your urges and looking at adult films and looking and masturbating and wasting your energy away every single day. Now, how to avoid this is by staying active. I don't care what you do, my guy. I don't. As long as you're in a public space, I don't care if you're outside or going on a hike. I don't care if you're at the library. Be active. Go outside. Touch grass. This is going to keep you from being bored. This is going to keep you from staying in your room all day scrolling. This is going to keep you from giving in to your sexual urges at the whim, right? So stay active. Make sure that you are being involved in extracurricular activities. If you're in school, get involved with stuff that you can do after school to occupy your time, to keep you distracted from watching adult films and masturbating. So number 2, I've got avoid adult films and put up potential ad blockers / screen time. Now, keeping and staying active is important. Distracting your mind from adult films is what you want, right? But you're not going to be active 24/7. You're not going to be able to be busy 24/7. So a way to counteract the times that you do have of periods of resting, of the little bit of time that you do have periods of resting, that should be with your screen time. That should be filled up with ad blockers to prevent you from ever scrolling, from ever getting the thought or idea of scrolling. Because hey, if you get that thought or idea of scrolling, or if you get that thought or idea to watch adult films, well, you're gonna have a screen time and you're gonna have a adult film website blocker. So it's gonna prevent you from being able to open up these websites even if you want to do it. Now, an honest way to make sure that you don't relapse into your old ways or to slip back into your old ways is, if you know that you cannot hold yourself accountable, get somebody to change your screen time password for you so that you don't have any access to these adult films. And if you don't have access to adult films, then 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be likely to masturbate, because you're not going to. You need something to look at. You need visuals to get you there, to feel that. And if you don't have those visuals, then you're not likely to masturbate. So put the password in a trustworthy person's hands, someone that you trust, and that you know that, hey, once they put this password in, I won't be able to change it and go look at adult films. I won't be able to slip back into my old ways. Number 3 is spend time with friends and family. If you are out and about, if you are active, if you're in public places, public spaces, you are less likely to masturbate. You are less likely to watch adult films because you are not in the comfortability or the comfort of your home, the comfort of your environment. By getting out, being active in more public spaces, more attention is on you, eyes are on you, and you're less likely to do those things. Now, also stay occupied with friends and family. A lot of times, the reason why you're masturbating is because you feel lonely from within. You don't feel content and satisfied from within. And so you lean to external things like masturbation and watching adult films to kind of fuel that loneliness, to kind of fill that void up. And that's not what you want to do, because once you peak, once you climax, you return back to reality. You return back to your normal state. And is all that worth it for 15 seconds of pleasure? Just ask yourself that. So if you spend more time with friends and family, you're able to build a connection and bond with other people, and you are able to sustain a relationship, a healthy relationship with other people. And this is again going to have more time on your hands, and your schedule is going to be more occupied, and this is going to make you less likely to want to engage in adult films. If you're always busy, if you're always surrounded by people, you're not going to you're not, it might cross your mind, but you're not going to want to act on that thought of wanting to masturbate or watch adult films because your eyes are on you. You know what I'm saying? You're around people that you don't want to make yourself uncomfortable, you know, privacy and things of that nature. So make sure that you're staying with friends and family and staying occupied. Number 4, ignore the surge. I like to call it the surge. It's better known as the urge. You have to try and fight your hardest to ignore the urge, right? An urge comes in many different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's a little urge, sometimes it's a super powerful urge, sometimes it's unbearable. But all of that will pass. It won't last forever. So keep that in mind as you reassure yourself. If you do have times of you have rest periods, or times where you're just laying down, or times where you're not doing anything, and that urge decides to creep in your mind when it's late at night, when you're exhausted, right? And this urge start to creep in your mind, and it starts to give you these thoughts of masturbating and watching adult films. Well, simply sit with that emotion, simply sit with that urge, and don't act on it. An urge is simply a thought with a request for action. Let me say that one more time. An urge is simply a thought with the form of request for action. So just because the urge pops into your head to want to masturbate, to want to watch adult films, doesn't mean you have to act on it. And the more you get in the habit of just sitting with the urge, the more you will help yourself in terms of longevity and not watching and masturbating to adult films, because you just simply sit there with that feeling to the point where you get used to it. You're not feeding the bear, you're not poking the bear, you're just simply letting things be, right? And another important thing for in terms of urges is to identify your triggers. See, a lot of you guys know what your triggers is, whether it be social media, whether it be you out in public and you see a lot of women and your natural instinct is just to look towards that woman this way or look to her that way, right? Instead of just going against that. You have to identify these triggers. Identify what gets you your brain churning, what gets you to want to think about these thoughts, want to think about watching adult films and wanting to masturbate. And once you identify these triggers, you can start drawing up countermeasures to attack those triggers. And sooner or later, those countermeasures will outweigh those triggers, because you have created so many countermeasures for each and every single trigger that how could you ever slip up? Because you know, okay, as soon as I feel an urge, I know exactly the countermeasure to go into to prevent myself from relapsing and slipping up. The key is to spend as little time as possible in your head, as little time as possible by yourself. And the times that you are by yourself, the times where you just have nothing to do, you have to spend that working on yourself. Spend that. Don't just let entertainment get to you, right? You never want to let entertainment get to you. You never want to just be like, oh, I'm sitting around for an hour or 2 hours just entertained. I'm entertaining my mind out. No, you always want to be finding some way to improve your lifestyle, especially if you don't got no money. You know, you really need to be figuring out how to improve your life. And this is what's going to help improve your life, is if you cut out these bad habits, these bad behaviors of yours. Number 5, and the final thing, is to seek professional help. Now, if you truly believe that you 100% for certainty you cannot commit for yourself in terms of longevity, and you cannot hold true to yourself and be honest and not masturbate and not watch these adult films, and you know that you're not honest enough to put these counter measures into place and hold that to yourself with 100% certainty and commitment, well, then you might need to seek professional help. And don't be embarrassed. Don't care about what anybody else has to say, because that professional help is what's going to help you and your future, not anybody else's. So don't listen to what other people have to say. If you need a legitimate accountability partner, that professional help that you might seek out might be exactly what you're looking for, might be that stable and that foundation that you were looking for to get you to that next level. And that's what life is all about, getting to that next level, right? So I just gave y'all 5 easy and effective ways to stop masturbating and watching adult films. Number 1 is to stay active. Number 2, avoid adult films. Set up screen times. Set up figure out and study what your triggers are, and set up countermeasures for those triggers, and set up screen time. And if you can't do that honestly yourself, then find someone who you trust who can do that for you, who can hold you accountable. Number 3, spend time with others. Number 4, ignoring the urge. And number 5 is to seek professional help. If these tips and tricks helped you, then make sure you guys leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. I will be having more bangers like this one on the channel, so make sure y'all stay tuned. And disclaimer, I want y'all to know that, hey, progress is progress. Life ain't easy, and change takes a lot, right? So don't rush the process. Don't beat yourself up if you're not seeing the results you want, right? I promise you, guaranteed, if you follow these 5 steps to the best of your ability and never give up, you will overcome this addiction. It's Boogie, and I'm out.